Hey maker, welcome to my channel. My name is Christina Nicole and I am a product photography coach teaching makers just like you how to take your own high quality product photos that attract more customers and make more sales for your product-based business. In today's video, I am going to take you behind the scenes on a shoot I am doing for Desert Vista Fiber Arts. So let's check it out. Our first step is to set up our backdrops, and for this shoot I'm going to be using Style & Co. Style & Co. currently is paused on selling their backdrops. I absolutely love them and I hope they come back soon, but they are expanding their family. All team members are actually expanding their families, so they will not be selling for a while, so you can no longer get this system. But I have a lot of their backdrops and it's still one of my favorite systems to use. So I will be using it for the shoot today. Now I am actually going to use my replica studio to put these backdrops on so that we can get nice and close to the window. Perfection. Now this is the product that we are going to be working with today during this shoot, and it's already pretty steamed out, but I am going to make some adjustments to it quick. Make sure we don't have any creases, and that looks nice and beautiful. I'm also going to, it's a little long for the little stand that we are using, so I'm going to fold this back side. Okay, for this shoot specifically, we are going to use a towel type ladder concept. Do it the way I like better. It's like it's slightly crooked. Which is gonna drive me crazy. You can do it a little bit like that. Okay, and then we're gonna take this top portion and actually drape it over, which that ended up not being long enough. Maybe if I do that. Maybe not. We'll see. Not sure how much I love that. Add some additional elements here. Okay, so I saw this image for, it was like a lemonade with rosemary in it. So in thinking about some additional props we could potentially add to this, we could do something like this kind of planter over here. Okay, that could be an option. We'll let that sit there for a minute. But I really wanted to play on the rosemary a little bit. So what I'm going to do is actually couple of these small cutting boards. I think I like this one better. Okay, so we're going to potentially use one of these, and we're going to put a few lemon pieces on it. And a little sprig of rosemary. Look at that. And then we're going to take a sprig of the rosemary and we're going to put it in the drink. And we're going to see, I might add a few smaller, fresh ingredients, especially citrus, anything that you can add fresh in your shoots. Just kind of adds an additional element to everything. So I'm going to be trying to get these lemons to separate here. And then make them about the same location. Okay, so we're going to add that there. Now remember, we're going to have these additional front elements, and I may take that plant out. I'm not sure that I like it. But our focus is the towel, okay? So I'm not exactly sure what we will or will not do. So I'm going to turn off this overhead lighting, and then we're going to get started. Okay, so I want to reduce, so we are using a window that, make sure I'm in this. So we are using a window that is indirect, but we do have some direct light coming from this direction. So we're going to want to block that with reflection. We're going to block it, but that's also going to reflect light back onto our setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this diffuser in the window so that we can kind of reduce some of that light intensity and also soften our shadows up a bit. And then I'm going to put this whiteboard, which I'm about to figure out how to do that. I really should have brought up. Okay, we can kind of do it that way. Okay, so now this is going to give us soft, even light. We're using the diffuser because the sun is a tiny light source because it's so far away. It's huge, right? But because it's so far away, it's tiny in comparison to our setup. So we are going to use the diffuser so we can scatter the light, soften the shadows, and then we're going to use the reflection to kind of even the light source out and fill those in. I'm going to pull that far back. I actually don't know that I want that in there. Okay, so right now I'm focusing on the ladder. Now this product specifically is going to be better shot vertical. We for like Etsy, you do want to make sure you have horizontal for that first thumbnail image, and the rest of the images can actually be vertical so that it shows the product in its best light. Well, not too bad. Okay, so I'm kind of looking, first thing I kind of do is I look at the image and I make sure the placement of everything looks good. Nothing funny sticking out. We want to make sure our lines are pretty good. I'm actually end up moving this a little bit more forward and this a little bit more forward to see if I could potentially actually go that way with it and that way with it. I would like to try to blur out these elements a little bit and just keep focus on that. I'm not loving, I wonder if I can scoot this back. So because of the weight of the ladder, the board, so this is gonna have to go here. The board is being like kind of pushed backwards. I'm gonna try to go that way a little bit more so we can keep this board up as much as possible. And then another thing I need to try to do is either, okay, so that's more equal. I'm trying to like, even though I think this ladder is a little crooked, like whoever built it, it's a little crooked. I also have a little bit of debris on here. I'll make sure I'm cleaning up. Some water left over. Let's see how that looks. I don't want to cover any of the detail. That's something to keep in mind. Okay. Real quick, I'm just going to take a few shots without the reflector so I can kind of, biggest thing is I'm trying to get these. Okay, so what I'd like to do is center, because again, I'm huge on lines here, so we're going to try to center this. Not only center it in between these, but then that would be kind of centered there. Got a little speck of something on the towel, but it doesn't look like that's coming off. Making sure our towel is perfectly straight. There's no additional pieces of the towel. It could afford to go that way a little bit down here though. Okay, either way, let's see. And I'm not really getting to utilize that, so. Right now I'm just kind of working on placement, making sure everything is lining up the way I want it to. So that can sit a little further out. Not be right up on the design. Yeah, whatever. And we're tucking that in. Turning that way a little bit. Let's see. Just something slightly crooked about that. I'm just taking a piece of paper. So I can grab some putty too. I'm trying to add it. Okay, possibly. Now keep in mind too, that depending on the angle of your camera, the angle that you're shooting, like this right here could look amazing and aesthetically pleasing to me, but when I get into the camera, something may look off because I'm at a different angle. So always keep that in mind. And then there goes everything. I'm still just not loving. And get that to go like that. And then I'm going to make some adjustments to that. Now I like this pointing towards the product because again, So I'm gonna take a picture of this. To show you how it doesn't have the same effect. Just on the edge, I'm gonna make that point towards the products. If we're moving left to right, we want to be directing focus to a certain location. Can't figure out yet if the beads are doing me justice or not. So I have moved the, and it's not that I don't have something that I like. It's just, I don't know. So I'm gonna take the beads off and we're gonna see what that looks like. I don't know if that's throwing my angle off too. And maybe, just maybe, I may need a little something in this corner. And get it turned to where it's barely in the image. Balance out some of that green. I swear to God, this stand is crooked and it's driving me crazy. It is. Let me get my little piece of paper to put. It's like, funny the things that annoy us. Like something is still slightly crooked about that. Let me get a penny. Let's see if I take a penny. And there goes my reflector. Slide a penny under there. And again, what you need to understand is while I keep adjusting like here, I need to get back behind the camera at my camera angle that I'm using and make sure those adjustments are correct. A little more separation there, but still pointing that towards it's still just the problem with it is we actually have so the plant on this left side is adding some nice balance that I like. So we're gonna keep that. I wish I could push it just so lightly, but I can't. So I ended up adding an additional penny. So I got 2 pennies under that side now, and I think we may be good as far as it's like the one thing that's been driving me crazy this whole shoot. Okay, so I think this may be the winner chicken dinner. Okay, so let's go ahead and shoot it, which we've got more sun again, so I have to adjust my exposure significantly here. Our sun decided to come back to life. Okay, let me look at this now. Top line is definitely perfection. I'm gonna move this a tiny bit left. Okay, so we finally got the ladder straight. It's probably just crooked to begin with. We've got just enough plant peeking into the image frame. Our lines are all looking amazing. I'm just looking here. Okay, I'm gonna do one more thing where I move these just a little closer. And then we're gonna put a little more focus on the actual product. And just have those props peeking into the image frame. Because remember, the closer I can get these elements to me, and I'll show you in the images here, the closer I can get these elements to me, the more that they're going to blur because there's going to be more depth between. Okay, so now I've got them closer to me. I'm dropping the angle just slightly so they don't look like they're as far away from the actual product. Okay. Here are the final images that I chose for this shoot. Thanks for hanging out with me today, Maker. Please take the time to like this video if you found it useful, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to learn more about taking your own high quality product photos. See you next time.